But as it is, Puxii has decided to swarm with infantry. That's doing all right. Looks like he's building some walls or some turrets down here for whatever reason, and he may be moving forward with the infantry, which is pretty much what you want to do. But if I was him, I would be walking out to the sides of the map where it's less likely that the Raffy has done scouting, because right now it's almost a sure thing that Raffy knows this infantry squad, this infantry mass here is coming. He probably knows for sure that that's coming. He could probably see it. And the thing about infantry is they don't show up on radar. So if the Raffy has not explored a certain section, or even if he has, or what have you, if the infantry are moving out around here, then on this screen you won't see this big blob of green. I can see this because I'm the observer, but the Raffy, if he does not see this blob of green on the mini map. So let's see how his little trike assault is doing from the Raffy. He's just about to take out this refinery. He may or may not do that because these infantry are starting to flood in, and that they're starting to become the closer target than that refinery. So they're still okay now. So now all the trikes are no longer firing on that refinery. The survivors are trying to get away. A bunch of light vehicles are getting pumped out right now to try and defend against this mass infantry assault. But I think I see what all right, Puxii, I think he wants to get his infantry into these crags. Get infantry into these crags, even if you have to move them and take a little extra damage, get them into the crags right away because it makes them very, very hard to kill, gives them range bonuses. It's really good. So he should get them in here and just immediately put them on stop orders. Some people are in here. You can see they're in there because they're getting shot, but you can't really see much closer than that. But he needs to get the rest of these guys into those crags to give them longer survivability. There's another squad that just went in. And so they're lasting a lot longer than you normally would expect. And here comes another wave of infantry. So basically, he basically Puxii is going Eastern Front here. He's just sending wave after wave after wave of infantry forward. He should be selecting one of these guys and hitting the Z key to make them spread out there to avoid having them all being eaten by the worm. But that's not a big deal. That is definitely more micro than you really need to be successful, and that's more micro than Puxii is really going to be willing to invest. So Puxii needs to build up his base a little bit here. He's focusing on the infantry wave, and I hope he starts walking around to the sides a little bit more to get a bit more of a surprise attack. Again, the Raffy does not know this group is here unless he actually takes his map and moves it up here like this. He can see these infantry here on the main screen, but he does not see this blob of green over here because they're infantry. Um, so right now the Raffy, he may or may not be aware that this group is sitting out here. And again, I would love to see Puxii start moving these infantry to the edges and start kind of moving around over here where it's likely that he can get a little bit of a surprise attack. In fact, down here would be a great place because he could just immediately destroy this heavy vehicle factory. The thing about infantry in my game, as opposed to the original game, in the original game, infantry had the ability to capture enemy structures. Well, you can't do that here. I think that was just silly in terms of design. You can't do that. So what's really important is that what replaces that basically is that all infantry are able to do more damage to buildings. In my opinion, that's due to them having grenades, being able to break into the structure, blah blah blah. Obviously they're much better for taking and holding structures. So in my game, they're a lot better at damaging them. Even regular infantry like this can just do a lot of damage to buildings if they get close enough. So what needs to happen here, if he could get a bunch of infantry to crawl back here, they would just destroy this heavy vehicle factory in no time at all. It would be very, very fast. And the Raffy might know that because he's already putting up a nice little defensive perimeter of light vehicles down here. The tank isn't going to be so useful, but these light vehicles, the quads, they're going to do fairly well. Now, Frontliner is sending his infantry in straight on the edge, basically at the strongest point. I wouldn't recommend that, so that attack is eventually going to get repulsed, and the Raffy is countering by spending a lot of money getting light vehicles out to try and deflect that. With two guard turrets here, you can see the infantry are just getting shot to pieces. So they won't be able to do any appreciable damage. Now, Puxii, what he needs to do, he needs to get his next infantry group to go around this whole section. He can't keep sending waves right at the front line. You know, it's like watching, well, I can talk about Okinawa and all kinds of things where, waves of infantry are just, running right into massed machine gun fire, and it just doesn't work out well. So yeah, these infantry are all going to die. That's just too many light vehicles. And now I am. It looks like based on the speed of this infantry guy walking around here that Puxii has invested in still suits, which makes all of his infantry, all of his foot soldiers move faster and also heal much faster. So that's a great thing to start with. He's also building 2 war facilities, and he's got a bunch of squads of troopers here, which is really going to improve his chances against the light vehicles. So if Raffy stays with these light vehicles, just watch how well the heavy troopers do. Watch how well the troopers do against light vehicles. It's much different. Um, Now, the Raffy has done something interesting. He's gone with ornithopters, who are going to just pick off this entire group of infantry really well. These rocket turrets, not good against infantry. Not until they stop moving anyway. When infantry are all rushing in like that, um, yeah, this is going to go poorly for Puxii because number one, all the ornithopters, and there is no anti-air backup. There's nobody here to stop this. So yeah, he's retreating now, and they're still going to get shot and picked off by the ornithopters though. So you're not allowed to retreat. You're just getting a shot in the back with a rocket. So good job by Raff of using a lot of different types of units, and at the same time he's been keeping a really decent macro. He's got a starport. That's kind of a late game thing. I don't think he needs that yet. And here's a mercenary attack coming in the back end from the Raffy against Puxii, and this is going to be a little bit difficult. He doesn't want to lose that Conyard because he's only got one, so he probably should move some infantry in to start deflecting fire, even if they die. He does not want to lose that Conyard. All right, he got lucky. Now you can see the Mercs, they just retreat when they get hit too much. Once they get 50%, they just say, forget it, and they leave. So that is over. But then at the same time, there's a little bit of a pincer attack. Um, the Raffy has decided to send a few random units in right into the front to do a little attack, and he's also got his air support. And again, Puxii just does not have any anti-air support going on here at all. He doesn't even have any rocket turrets. If he had one rocket turret stuck right behind these buildings, even that would almost be enough to deflect, the danger of multiple ornithopters like this. These ornithopters are just gonna kill everybody. Everybody who's been attacking anyway. They have no chance. Everyone who fired a shot is now dead. So what Puxii really needs to do, number one, he needs to keep his economy moving, and he probably needs to macro a little bit more because I know he's very fond of that and good at it. And you can see there's a little proxy station of sorts going up here for the Raffy. He's just really keeping everything going, and he responded absolutely appropriately to those infantry waves. He immediately put up a bunch of guard turrets, which is fantastic. You should probably airlift these light vehicles out of here and then put walls in there to keep them from reappearing there again. That's just a minor thing, but I don't know how much attention the Raffy really pays to micro. Um, Very pleased with the Raffy's responses to everything so far. He's responding to everything in the right way. I don't see him aggressing um, in quite as much as he could be, but he's definitely playing more late game macro tactics. He really prefers the macro, but he could be a little bit more aggressive. But other than that, Puxii,